Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
If your eyes are the windows to your soul, and your glasses are the windows to your eyes, then it's pretty important to find your perfect frames. That's why at Warby Parker, we've made shopping for eyewear as easy and fun as can be. Peruse endless styles in our stores, or use our app to virtually try on frames and get personalized recommendations. To find your next favorite pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to locate your nearest Warby Parker store, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Hello, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
So today we are closing out the second season of Extreme Sisters.
Yes.
This is, like 8, 9, 10?
8, 9, 10.
Last 3 episodes.
Yes. This is a little bit of a bonus. We were going to tack this on to Love is Blind, but we had so much to say about Love is Blind that we just decided to do this as a standalone, a little extra something.
Yeah, so I've had a love-hate relationship with this show, the second season.
Yeah.
But, I think, I had to finish it out.
Yes.
And, wrap it all up.
Yes.
So we'll start out by talking about the triplets, the Capasso triplets. And
okay.
I really think, I think they should have just left these guys out of the show. They didn't even have a full story arc.
No, this was hands down the fakest thing I think I have ever seen in my entire life. I kind of stopped paying attention because I was like, this is so fake. This is so fake. The whole thing, I think the entire storyline, as I look back on it, I think every last minute of this was a storyline.
Agreed.
I think it was fake. I think they weren't on season 1. I think that I think the producers found them. I think the producers asked them, like, hey, tell us about your life. Tell us some interesting things. I think that they found out, like, oh, well, our family kind of thinks we're flaky. They think we're kind of goofy because we do this, online gaming. But I think when they started to really dig into it, I think they realized that it was a much ado about nothing. It was like not that big of a freaking deal. And that really all of this drama that they're trying to make is not as real as we think it is. And this whole thing has been just the most convoluted thing. This whole thing about the fundraiser.
Oh, that's completely fake.
Oh, that is so fake. The whole scene is fake. Of course, the day before the event, they haven't done anything. Oh, Catherine, you need to order the things. I can't. I've forgotten. And then, of course, and then it's like, ding dong, Regina, you have not done anything.
Look at all this food we have to prepare.
Yes. And then the brother, what's the brother's name? Aiden. You're going to embarrass me. How could you do this?
This is what I was afraid of.
And then, we see that then the next day the mom is yelling, you triplets are crazy and lazy and entitled. And then of course we see, and then the side storyline of this is it Nadia is the oldest?
I think, or
is Catherine the oldest? I'm so confused.
I don't know who the oldest is. All I know is Hannah is the one who's the most responsible.
So the one that's most responsible, who's the one that leaves at the end?
Hannah.
Okay, Hannah's the firstborn who's the most responsible. Her whole thing, and then the subset of the stupid storyline has been that Hannah takes the brunt of everything. That Hannah's the responsible one. That she's always covering for them, so that she feels like she gets the brunt of everything and that she gets lumped in with them.
Yeah, and then the brother and sister, Aiden and Regina, they have this conversation with Hannah where they basically tell her that the other two are holding her back, which is, this is very mean. Like, why are they trying to split these triplets up? Or, again, it's probably fake. Again, they were just told to say this. And yeah, this whole fundraiser thing is completely fake.
Oh, yeah.
When you see the fundraiser, it looks very well organized and put together by somebody else.
Yes.
Not them. And then they say that they're trying to raise $12,000. And somehow Hannah got a $5,000 donation from a family friend, which seemed very fake. And then the whole thing only raised $6,500.
Yes.
So
I was like, what was
they only made $1,500 from that whole thing?
Well, and what was this other thing with the bucket? They had this bucket.
They were selling tickets, so like raffle tickets.
Yeah, there was this bucket where they sell raffle tickets, and, half the money goes to the raffle winner, and then the other half of the money, one of the triplets is like, goes to me. And it's just like, oh my God, you guys, just, no, the mom says, no, not to you. It goes to the Matts. It's like these lines. You just know that they prepped each one of them ahead of time. Like, I have never seen such horrendous acting. But this is the weirdest part. So at the very end, Hannah wants to go on a solo trip. All she wants to do is leave the house on her own for a couple days. This is where I think things started to get really weird. Because one of the triplets is saying, well, where does she think she can go? Where does she think that she can go out and do? One of them says, like, how dare she go out on her own and start doing things like by herself? Like, as if, how dare she?
Right.
Like, one of the triplets got angry because she's trying to identify herself as her own person as opposed to being a triplet. And I'm like, oh my God, you three, Jesus Christ. Like that's such a crime.
Yeah.
So it's like, this part I felt was the only thing that could slightly be maybe real. Because I do feel like one of those triplets' reaction to her going felt slightly real. But it was so weird. It was like, they were like, where are you going? And she's like, oh, I'm going to go on a trip. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? I'll tell you whether or not I want to go. And she's like, well, I didn't invite you. That little end part felt very real, and the tears felt very real. So that part felt real. Everything else, but the entire storyline, that mother, like, I bet you anything that the producers told the girls, like, your mom's really not going to show up at 9 that one morning, or we're going to have her show up at 9. You stay in bed. And so you, Hannah, you be responsible and you show up, but you two be in bed. Like, every single piece of this. Okay, so the first night that you're all going to be together for the first episode of the show, you all cook dinner for them, but you do this. I mean, every moment of this has been a fraudacity, as Matt Maher would say.
Fraudacity, yeah. And then when Hannah goes off on this trip by herself, it's like she just kind of walks out the door, and then that's it, and we never see them again for the rest of the show. Yeah. There's really no resolution or wrapping up of their story. It's just like we're just left hanging, like, where did Hannah go? We don't even know where she's going. Like,
and I thought that was very weird. I was like, is that it? So I mean, at least, God, you given me this whole fake storyline. At least wrap it up for me. Their whole thing annoyed me. You're right. They should have just left them. They should have, you know what it was? I think the producers were kind of like, they're triplets. It's interesting. I mean, these girls, again,
the Kardashian look.
The looks. I mean, the boobs.
I was noticing, like, how, the lips, like, one of them, I think, got her lips injected even more since the last time I saw her. Because I was just looking at her going, whoa. I know. What are they doing to themselves?
I know. I mean, it was even more glaring how just comical. I mean, they look like cartoon characters. Like, just how much, like, what the thought process is. And I think that the producers really thought that they were going to be a home run hit. Like, these girls are going to be perfect. And then they realized there is no story here. There's nothing interesting about them. And they're not that compelling.
No.
They're really not interesting. They're not compelling. The only thing that's really interesting about them is that they're triplets. and that they look so odd. And that's a 5-minute story.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It's not enough. I don't think if there's an Extreme Sisters 3, they're not going to be on it.
I don't think so. I don't know where they go from there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
goodbye. Ugh, that makes me so angry when people do that. It's just like, but at least give them some acting lessons or something. You're going to embarrass me in front of my friends. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen, you know? Like, oh my God, the mother is she's exhausting too.
Yeah, she's just like, she's like a Karen, you know? She's just like,
so Mom, you have no qualms with on TV ragging on
ripping your kids apart.
Yeah. You at no point you're fine with this.
Yeah.
You're fine on television, just like never saying anything nice about them, never saying like, hey, well, maybe we shouldn't have, maybe we made them rely on each other too much, or maybe we did this, or maybe we did that, or, oh God, maybe I should have taken the video games away from them or something. I mean, they just, ugh.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yes.
All right. So next, let's talk about Randi and Jordan.
Oh, God, these two.
And, at this point, I just feel sorry for Randi.
Yes.
Jordan is just a bully.
Yeah.
She's a bully. And she's annoying. And she's just like, the way she talks just makes me cringe.
Well, I also think Jordan doesn't want to be married to Daniel. Jordan wants to be married to Randi.
Yeah. And that whole fantasy thing about them marrying
the
twins,
twin dream.
That's just part of their fantasy dream, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't care about that guy.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
At all. So we start out, they go and they have something injected in their ass. Like, what is it to get rid of dimples or to make it more rounded? Well, that's kind of what they do to their faces. They inject it so that it's just all like real,
this is what everyone does now. And now I'm very curious about that. I really, now those butt injections though, I don't know if I would do that, but
nobody's going to see my butt like that. Like, I'm not going out in a thong.
Yeah. Well,
bathing suit,
I'm telling you, it's Instagram. It's like,
they were talking about how, it'll be so great when we go on the honeymoon and I can take pictures of your butt and your bathing suit and you can take pictures of me. I mean, this is what they're thinking about. These are their big plans.
But before, so we see Jordan. She works at at the whatever this
doctor
spa.
What is there?
It was some long name too. I didn't even write it down, but it was some long name of some med spa.
Dr. Drea something.
So, so she works there, and so they have a friend. Again, didn't write her name down either. Sorry. And Jordan starts telling the friend like, I want to go on the honeymoon, and the friend is like, no. I mean, there is not one person who's on board for this. The friend is like, no, that is not, there's nothing funny about this. No, you are not going to want, no, you're not doing this.
Well, Jordan said she didn't get a honeymoon.
Because they bought the house.
Which they didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah, I bet you Daniel said to her, we're not going to do a do you want the house or the honeymoon, And that's a nice house that they have. So I bet you anything, he probably said, we can't afford that. So she didn't get a honeymoon of her own. And so she wants to go on this honeymoon. And so then they do the injections. And then they're back home rubbing each other's butts. So here's my question. Because for part of this treatment that they get, you have to rub your butt at least 5 minutes a day.
5 times a day.
5 times a day. I'm like, what if you're alone? What if you're single? How do you rub your own butt?
You can't.
5 minutes a day.
You could.
I guess you could, but you can't really see anything.
You just reach back there and do it.
I guess so. Yeah. I was like, well, good thing they have each other to do this.
Yeah.
And this is when she proposes her plan to Randi about
that she wants to
go on the honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And it is really interesting to watch Randi because Jordan proposes her plan about going on the honeymoon. She sells her on all this stuff of like, we're gonna, I didn't get one. We're going to have so much fun. What's the big deal? You know, obviously the two of you will have your own room. I'll get my own room. You know, you guys will get bored of each other anyway. What's the point? You know, all of that stuff. And so Randi does, I have to say, like Randi, much like all the other plans that Jordan has, she starts to get on board. She starts to kind of jump on it and starts to get, like, she starts to think, this might be a pretty good idea. Maybe this is good. Can I ask you a question? At what point do they show scenes from the wedding? Did this already happen?
I think it was like at the end in the last episode.
Okay.
So this episode that we're in right now, this isn't the last episode.
Okay, this is 8.
I think it's maybe like 8 or 9. Yeah, so Randi has to...
Oh, that's it. You're right. Okay.
Randi has to convince Derek about this honeymoon thing. So she waits till he's at the chiropractor with his head like, stuck in this thing.
Yeah.
And he's on this contraption and he can't move.
Yes.
And so
pretty smart.
She has him. Captive audience there. So she proposes it and he says, okay, well, she can come if both Jordan and Daniel move out after, or if they move out. They move out. Derek and Randi move out of that house after the honeymoon. And so Randi's a little shocked by this, but she actually decides, well, yeah, that's probably the best thing for us. And she's standing up for herself, like for the first time, like one of the healthiest things we've seen her do. You know, she actually has come to the conclusion that, this has to be. And so then does she break the news to Jordan before or after the wedding?
This is all, I think, before. So first we see Jordan, they go to brunch because they love brunch with their friend Drea. I think Drea is the friend. So they love brunch. They love everything about brunch. And then that's when Jordan passive aggressively brings up how Randi wants to move out. And then we see the scene of Randi telling Jordan, hey, it looks like we're going to move out. And of course, this is just the biggest betrayal of her life.
Yeah.
That Randi actually wants to have a life outside of her. And it's just so, it's so interesting because Jordan's like, well, I just don't know what to do with my mornings or my evenings. And I'm thinking to myself, this has got to do with you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, you do not like your husband. You either hate your husband or the two of you have nothing to talk about or you have no connection at all because you're scared of her moving out because you have no relationship with this guy.
No, apparently
and you don't
not.
want to have any relationship with this guy. And it's frightening. It is really, really frightening.
Well, and their relationship is it's just too much. Like she talks about how, well, talking about what is she going to do in the morning? They can't have their morning poops together.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
And I felt like she was serious. Like, I mean, this is beyond codependent. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just weird.
Well, and that was one of Jordan's arguments to Randi was, listen, we're going to be calling each other all the time. We're going to be texting and calling and talking to each other the entire time that you're going to be away on your honeymoon. So, and it's going to annoy Derek. Wouldn't it be better if I was there and it wouldn't annoy Derek because I would be there?
Well, I don't know about that.
And so there's a little bit of this thing of, so then maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you shouldn't be annoying, shouldn't texting and calling and doing all this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But
And then they show I don't know why they didn't televise Randi's whole wedding. They just showed what looked like a blooper reel because she trips on her dress. She forgot to bring her bouquet. When she walked out. I don't know, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm sure someone fell into the cake too. I mean,
Yeah.
it just looked like a disastrous wedding.
Yeah, I have to say the wedding looked incredibly low rent.
Yeah.
I have to say.
It was like out by the swimming pool.
Yeah,
It didn't even really look
It
decorated.
was supposed to be done. It was supposed to, this was the house of the owner, the med spa lady's
the doctor.
place. So I'm sure she has a lovely home, but the home looked like really cheap cookie cutter. You know what I mean? Like one of those cheap
A McMansion.
a McMansion cookie cutter home. And the whole thing was like, yeah, it wasn't elegant or classy or nice. Her dress, I thought was supposed to be like the sexy dress. I'm like, this is the ugliest, like really not pretty at all.
And she's wearing like one of those 1990s, chokers.
And then, so obviously you don't have a wedding planner, but you don't need a wedding planner, but you don't have anyone helping you. Your sister's not there to like get you the bouquet and remember these things. Like,
I know, was that even real? I mean,
the whole thing just seemed very odd. I mean, like you spent $35,000 on your wedding ring.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna, to me, it feels like $35,000 on a wedding ring. To me, feels like you're gonna spend at least $75,000 on a wedding.
I know.
And that did not look like a $75,000 wedding.
It wasn't.
That looked like a $20,000 wedding. So
maybe they needed the money so they could move out.
Yes, maybe. But the other thing is, and their honeymoon is like 3 days in Key Largo. Like, okay, that's not anything. I mean, that's not that like woo woo. Like, that's not big of a deal. I was just like, I don't understand any of this. Anyway, one thing that I thought was interesting about this dynamic was in one scene we see Jordan like convince Randi about having her come on the honeymoon. And then in the next scene we see Derek convince her about moving out. I'm like, I wonder is like Derek's complaining about Jordan, Jordan is complaining about Derek, but are they like doing the same thing? Are both of them constantly like the alpha in the relationship and like trying to convince Randi of what they want? Like, no, Randi, you want this. Come with me. And I think that the big difference is that obviously I think that Randi really likes Derek. I think Randi and Derek have more of a connection. I think they really like each other. I think that Daniel probably, we barely see him, but I think that Daniel was just like, oh, you want to get married? Great. Let's get married. I'm going to work and do my own thing. You're going to show up and do your thing. Great. And I think that Derek and Randi were like, we really love each other and care about each other. And this is going to continue to be again,
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've seen enough of these two.
But anyway,
to last a lifetime.
Oh God, they're exhausting. But again, we didn't get any closure with them. All we know is maybe Jordan's going on the honeymoon. Maybe she's not. And maybe Randi's moving out. Maybe she isn't.
No, that was really, that was left up in the air too.
All right. Who's next?
All right. So Anna and Lucy.
These two.
They decided that they need to quit their job, you know, because they were doing too many things differently.
Yes, one was clearing a plate, the other one was carrying a bowl.
It was very
not
upsetting.
the same.
But they made a lasagna for Deb.
Yes,
and they broke it to Deb that they were quitting.
Yes,
and Deb seems genuinely like, you know, she had invested in these two.
Yes.
So she seemed a little sad.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Deb, everything that Deb said to them, I was thinking that I was like, good for you, Deb, because everything that Deb was saying was right on. And you know what? I feel like in these last 3 episodes was the first time that Ben, Deb, the psychic, everyone
kind of stood up to them.
Everybody sat down and said, okay, we've got to stop. We have got to stop tiptoeing around this. This is getting worse. Because what Ben says is, over the last 10 years, the girls are getting more extreme. They're giving up on things that they needed to do to, you know, they're
having children,
and he's saying they're counting more and more. That's the obsessive compulsive stuff, is the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do this, you do that, because, you know, the big thing that they told everyone was starting this restaurant. This is our dream. This is our dream. This is our dream. They told Deb that. I'm sure Deb was, I mean, if I was Deb, I would be pissed. and annoyed that she had spent this time and energy, let the cameras come, maybe she got some free publicity, but it's not going to do much for her business. And she basically lays it out to them that, you think that, you think this is helping you, but it's hurting not. It's hurting you. It's preventing you from living your life. And one thing that Ben said, which I'm glad he said, which is that they don't think about how their actions affect him. Like how their behaviors, this extreme need to be the same, affects him and the people around them. And they want Ben to what they really want is they want Ben to blindly support them, but they don't want to take Ben into account at all. And they're not good partners. They're not good. They aren't. You just see very clearly.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of getting kind of dicey. Because, and look, I don't know how real this whole psychic thing was.
Oh, no. I'm telling you what happened. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is what happened. The producers or Ben, and I secretly think it was Ben, went to this meeting and said, listen, I don't know if you can talk to dead people or not, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is what you need to say. This is their father. We can't speak. We cannot convince these women to listen to us. Maybe they'll listen to their dead father. I'm going to lay it all out for you. Because I do believe in psychics. I believe in the woo-woo. I believe in all these kinds of things. I do. This seemed a little too neat.
Well, yeah, because
wrapped up a little too well.
They walked into the psychic and, they said something like, well, do you feel anybody here? And the psychic's like, oh, yeah, he's already here. He's been here for a while. She's just cutting right to the chase. She doesn't even.
Yeah.
She knows why she's there. She has this assignment. She's got to tell these two that their dad thinks that they're wacko.
Yeah, you're being like, what did she say? Can I be blunt or whatever? She said, you're being neurotic.
Yeah. And she said that, the dad is saying, I treated you like one person and he regrets that.
Because he couldn't keep them apart. He couldn't figure out which one was which. He couldn't figure out, he couldn't keep them apart. So he treated them like they were one person. And
this is what you get.
And this is what happened. And I think that what happened was that, my guess would be, because we see their mom. The mom's a little wackadoo. I think there's a lot of anxiety in their family and mental illness in their family. And I think that the combination of their dad treating them like one person, I think the world treating them like one person, I think they felt a lot of safety and security, and that felt good. And they've just attached that. But what's happened is that when Ben said this is getting worse, that's when my alarm bells were like, this is bad. Like,
he might not want to stick around for
and this. The fact that, the way they sort of sold all of this to us was, this is how we've always been. This is what our life has been. Yeah. It's like, oh, no, there was a time where it wasn't this bad. Right. Like when you both held a job, it was... Yeah, you both were maybe working at the same place and one wasn't taking a salary, but you both were probably not having to both touch the same piece of paper and some of this stuff. Like this, your level of anxiety was in a, much lower.
Yeah. So, and they're still making comments about how they at some point want to be pregnant at the same time. And Ben seems very concerned, and the mom, not so much.
Oh, God. Then the mom, and then because at first I thought, the mom and Ben got together and paid the psychic to say all this stuff. And like, let's give her a little bit of history. And then the mom backtracks. And of course, Ben's pissed. And that's the other thing. The mom is like enabling this bullshit. And you're just like, Mom, why are you doing this? Honestly, the two of them need to go into a program. Like they need to be in a hospital and really deep psychological help to help them, because their anxiety is so bad. I mean, even at the end of this, the tomato, that was just like,
they could barely eat a tomato 5 seconds apart.
Yes, they ate it 10 seconds apart. You would think that they were like, that's a great change.
That was progress.
That was progress. You're like, no, that's not progress. That's not progress, because you still had to control it. You still had to control it. It wasn't progress. It wasn't. You think it was progress. It was, you controlled it still, and it was enough to placate the cameras and Ben in that moment in time. It wasn't progress.
Yeah. And, I read somewhere that the mom lives with them. So, I mean, I think she kind of has to indulge this stuff.
Yeah. Well, so who's footing the bill for all of this? Because they obviously can't work. They have, everything they do is difficult and they have matching outfits. They dress well. They've had plastic surgery. They get their nails done. They get, they
must be making money off of this in some way, shape, or form. Not just this show. I mean, they got paid for this show.
Yeah, but the upkeep of their lifestyle. Perth is not cheap, I don't think.
Well, but they live with Ben and their mom. And
I mean, so do they have family money where the family money is, where mom's feeding them, or Ben?
I'm sure mom has some kind of social security pension, something. Oh, and I also read that someone else lives there too. Who they're called their best friend. I don't think we've ever seen this person on camera. I think they have multiple income streams. Their place is pretty modest. Like, it's not like some huge mansion or something. I mean, to me, it looks like a 2 or 3 bedroom house.
From the outside, it looks really nice, but I don't know. Maybe it looks very modern.
I think it's like a condo type thing. I don't think that's all their whole house.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is. Maybe they don't live these high lives. It's just, if their income is mainly associated with Ben, that's a problem. If Ben is now
Ben decides to bail.
If he decides to bail.
Now he's in it. Yeah, that's the thing. If he leaves, he's probably going to be like, well, I can't leave these two. What's going to happen to them?
Yeah.
And, they were on many years ago an episode of Botched. I wish I could find the episode, but, I mean, it was several years. It was probably a good 10 years. I mean, Botched has been on for a while. It was like an early season. And so obviously they've been having plastic surgery for many years, trying to look the same, trying to be the same. I wish I could watch that episode, but I think that in Australia, I think they are somewhat of a, kind of like a Darcy Stacey type celebrities.
So maybe they, and so that also, if they've been doing this for a long time, this also feeds into the, being
they have
so
to
neurotic.
Continue this act that they do.
Oh God, I saw, I don't know if it was Darcy or Stacey, really briefly on like something. My God, they kept going with the plastic surgery. I hadn't seen them in a while. I'm like, what are you girls doing?
It's hard to watch.
It is hard to watch, those two. All right, who's next?
All right, so next let's talk about Jessica and Christina.
Yes.
So,
this I felt I was back and forth on. I was feeling hopeful, and then,
well, first Jessica finds out that she's pregnant.
Yeah, which is perplexing. So what we find out is, after that night, I guess she goes back and Josh agreed to have a baby.
Yeah.
So they start doing it, and she gets pregnant right away, which was insane to think about. And if I was a woman who was struggling with fertility and had been struggling for a while and watching this, I would want to throw something at the television screen, because this was a little too easy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's all real.
She had the charcuterie or the charcuterie plate with all that food on it. And
they channeled their Reiki feminine energy. Yeah. But I do think that it is one of those things where, like, and Amy alluded to this when she was on the show, about it is a little dangerous in the sense of, there are women out there that are so struggling with fertility, and you don't want people to think that just by a charcuterie plate and channeling your feminine energy and paying someone to Reiki something is going to make it happen for you. It's just, she's very lucky, right time, right place. I don't know. But that was quick.
Yeah, that was quick.
Listen, sometimes it happens for people. The first shot out.
Well, and Josh was happy.
He was.
The way that they did the announcement,
it was cute.
It was cute. They wrote on Christina's belly about how
roses are red, violets are blue.
John is going to be a father. And then on Jessica's belly it said, and so are you.
Yeah. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, he was genuinely very happy.
Yeah, and it took him a minute. You know how he's like looking at it. He's just like, what? Huh? Yeah, but it was cute. He seemed very, very happy.
Yeah,
and very excited.
So the birth is coming. You know, it's imminent, and
yes. Well, we do see at one point. Yeah, she's trying to induce labor, so she starts walking around
and doing stuff, and you know they're chatting and walking, and Jessica says, well, when they get back, she's going to check Christina's cervix.
Yes.
And apparently Christina did the same for her when she was pregnant, so it just makes sense.
And she Googled it. So
she Googled how to do it.
How could she be wrong?
She's never done it before, but...
How could she be wrong? Though I will say, you know, Christina must have a good sense of it because she is right on. She says, they claim, Josh and Jessica keep claiming that they're all good. And she said, my instincts are it's not good. That they haven't resolved it. And she's right.
Oh, you mean John and Jessica?
John and Jessica, sorry. Okay. So John and Jessica...
They called a truce.
They called a truce and said, well, we both want to be at the birth, so let's call a truce. Mm-hmm. But they told Christina that they made up and things are good. Mm-hmm. Christina says, I don't believe that. And she's right. You know, you got to give her some credit for that. Like, sure, instincts are right on that these guys have not gotten into a better place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that cervix checking thing is a little like...
That was odd.
That was odd. And I don't know how and it's just so weird with this twin thing of like, I'm seeing my vagina and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's so great. I don't know why people are so fascinated.
That's why this is extreme.
It is
sisters.
Extreme. Yes,
it is extreme. I don't think it's typical. I don't think most twins do this kind of stuff. But so this is extreme. But so, you know, they set up for the birth. They get the pool and the doula or the midwife comes. And I have to say, this was probably one of the most real giving birth scenes I've ever seen.
Yes.
And it was intense.
It was intense.
It was very intense. And I thought that, you know, Christina was really focused and she seemed to have, I don't know, it's edited. Who knows how long she was doing, but she seemed to be very focused and, you know, I got the job done. And John and Jessica both sort of like hung back, you know. I think John he looked so shell-shocked and scared, like he didn't really know what to do. But Jessica was staying out of the way. She, you know, was not crowding. It was mostly the midwife who was doing it and all that. And then, and then the baby is born. And again, John is just beside himself. And, I
have to say, I went on a journey with this, watching all of this, because you know, I was watching it in the tub birth and I was like, wow, I can't believe she's allowing them to film the whole thing. All of
very
this.
Vulnerable.
And very vulnerable. And she's pooping in the tub and they're I would be like, edit all of that out, please. And I was like, oh God, this is a natural labor. And she's like going through it and the screaming.
Yeah.
And John, I mean, I can imagine being John just being like, what do I
There's
do?
nothing you can do.
And there's nothing you can do. And you know, the last thing she wants is like, oh, there, pat your back kind of thing. And she's screaming. And then I'm watching this whole thing like, oh God, oh God. And then all of a sudden the baby comes and then I start crying. I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful.
It really was amazing.
It was really, really beautiful. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is so great. This couple that I really did not believe in before. I'm like, oh, this is great with their beautiful child. This is wonderful. Oh, I love these people. And I was like, but Jessica was doing some of her Reiki clearing and healing and giving of her feminine energy to Christina. But listen, no matter what she was doing or not, whether you believe it or not, she was staying out of the way.
Right.
And the midwife was good because the midwife was like, John, come here. Because she was helping John. Like she was getting
catch the baby.
Okay, Dad, come here, umbilical cord. Like she was getting Dad involved. But there was that weird tense moment where they put her on the chest and you don't hear anything. Then you hear the cries. The baby is super cute and over 9 pounds with no drugs. Like I said, my son was over 9 pounds and I had drugs. So
Yeah, and then when
Better women than I.
Then when after the John and Christina had time with the baby and everything, they gave the baby to Jessica, and yeah, it was very emotional. And then John came over and hugged her, and they kind of had this I don't know what you want to call it, but healing moment of some sort, and it seemed very genuine to me. And I was just like, wow, like this was a journey.
Yes, this was. I feel like they felt what I think everybody felt. It was almost kind of like this when the baby came, it was like this release of all the tension and everything that was going on. It was like, oh, okay, we can all now put our focus on this baby.
Yeah, because it makes everything else in comparison look so stupid.
Yeah, like, why are we fighting?
Why are we fighting? That's not important. What's important is the baby. And
now we have this thing that connects us all, that bonds us all, and we can focus on the baby, and that's that. Like, because it's true that now that the baby's here, whether John and Jessica like each other or not, they are just like
they're connected.
They are connected. Yeah. They will be connected for life. This she's the aunt. This is the dad. Like, this is how they will be connected forever. So
yeah, so that ended on a
very
note.
nice note, and I was very happy for that.
High note.
All right, so the final couple, V and Ashley, we have got to talk about this because these two, I don't understand what happened. I'm so confused.
Well, yeah,
I'm so confused by them.
Yeah, so V goes to the cardiologist, and surprisingly to me, the cardiologist cleared her to be a surrogate mother. And I was like, well, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, she decided she does not want to be a surrogate because the dog joke was just too much for her.
Yeah.
And, I think she's overreacting.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the part.
She claims that she was calling this surrogate baby a dog. And that's not what Ashley said. She said, well, I guess she was being flippant and saying, well, I can't afford to get this to pay for the in vitro, so I guess I will get a dog. She was not referring to the potential baby as a dog. And that's what V kept saying, that she was referring to this baby that V was going to be carrying as a dog.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Okay. Just like two people with the worst communication skills, and you're both adults, so you should have better communication skills. So yeah, I mean, shocked that V got cleared from the cardiologist, but okay. So she gets cleared from the cardiologist. She calls up Ashley and to tell her about that. And V's pissed because Ashley doesn't show up to the appointment, which I understand. So Ashley apparently made some excuse, and V's kind of calling her on it. And Ashley keeps saying, no, I couldn't. We then learned from Ashley, like she could, she just didn't want to go. So, and Ashley's still pretty shut down. And, so she calls her up and they start talking, and she's like, oh, wow, that other day was kind of rough. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? Like, the other day, V slapped a glass across the room and stormed out. Like, this is the first time you're talking to each other? Like, this is so weird. And then what? The next time you would see each other is this cardiologist appointment? Like, you've never communicated?
Without making up?
Without making up or talking to each other? Like, this is where we're at? Okay. So, then there's this discussion of Ashley then brings this up, not to V, but in her interview about getting someone else to carry the baby. But Ashley then, I think in this moment, I think what happened for Ashley was, this is the part that's very confusing, is I think that these interviews that they're doing are after the fact. They're after the fact, so you don't know how much time and processing has been done. But this is what I get confused about. So Ashley says, I was really surprised. The money thing shocked me, which I understand. And I think that what also happened was that I think it all came to a head for her, right? Everything that we had been saying this entire season, which is no one supported them. The ex doesn't want to be the sperm donor.
Right.
The mom doesn't into this. V's husband's not into this. Nobody supports this. And I think that the money thing was the thing that sort of toppled.
Yeah, she said
her over.
that. She said she said the dog joke was a self-protective thing, but the reality was she can't afford it.
Yes. So now she's saying she can't afford it. Okay. So I'm with you, Ashley. You understood, like, finally, I can't afford it. It's not going to happen. All right. So, but she cannot. So then in the same interview, she then says, but I know that someday I'll have my daughter. I'm going to just keep pushing forward and making it happen. And maybe I'll find another surrogate. And then she goes back to, but right now the money is an issue. And so she's talking she's like, do you want the baby or not?
Yeah, I don't think she knows.
So she's all over the place. So I'm so confused by this. And then we see this where it's been 3 weeks, and then we see V. It's 3 weeks. So this is 3 weeks later. They have not talked to each other. Now V decides she no longer wants to carry the baby because of the dog comment. And I'm with you on this, where V is really taking this dog comment as a dog lover myself. You know, dogs are very special. And I don't think that, a dog is something to think that you think a dog so lowly, that V is not understanding this. And I think that, and now, so Ashley's hurt because so now Ashley's hurt because she didn't say earlier that she didn't want the baby because of the money. I'm so lost. And now they're mad at each other, and they're not friends, and they're not talking to each other. Then it just ends. Like, we have no idea what happens. I'm lost I'm lost as to what is Ashley actually wanting right now? Like, because I do agree. I'm with V. I was with V up until these last couple episodes, where it was a little bit of like, listen, we've been through all of this. What, you're giving up now, like, because of the money?
Yeah. And then Ashley makes a comment where she says that she wonders if V was looking for a reason to back out. So she made a big fuss over this dog comment. But
that seems crazy.
I feel like on both sides, maybe there was, like some where they both kind of said, well, like, what are we doing?
Maybe.
I mean, I think it started with Ashley with, the money thing. That really kind of stopped her in her tracks. And then she made the dog comment, and V, took that the wrong way. And it just really just kind of blew up.
Yeah, it went from bad to worse. Yeah, I remember that now, which I thought was so bizarre of Ashley saying that, because I was like, wait, you think this has been part of V's master plan this entire time of like, yeah, I'm going to carry the baby. I'm going to ruin my marriage. I'm going to go with you to all of these appointments, and then with you and do all this stuff. Go and get myself cleared by the cardiologist just to back out now because of this. Yeah. I thought that was bizarre too. I think that so much of this is that they don't have very good communication skills. And I think that both of them are, they're both kind of hotheads, and they both, are they reactive. Very reactive, very impulsive, really just say what's there. They don't think things through. And Ashley could have very easily gone to V after she sort of shut down that first time and said, you know what? It all hit me at once. And, we've not been supported one iota of this. I want this baby so bad. But when I realized how much money it was, I couldn't see it anymore. And it's too much. And I don't know what to do. And I don't have $40,000, and I don't even know where to begin. And I don't think that I can do a GoFundMe or go do this, or I don't think I can raise that kind of money, and I don't know what to do. then the two of them can talk about it and they would still be friends. They would still, have this close sister bond. And they would say, okay, let's put a pin in it for a while, or let's do this or let's do that. But now the two of them hate each other.
Well, and also this all happened in the midst of filming this.
Yes.
And so they were probably thinking, oh God, now what do we do? Like, 'cause they don't, they want to deliver for this TV show.
Yeah, it could have been that too. Well, and also, I don't know. Do you think that they decided to do all... I mean, Ashley really wanted to have this baby. So do you think it's possible that V was like, ooh, what if I say that I want to carry this baby for you? Mm-hmm. This would be a good storyline. I don't know. It all felt very real. I don't know, though. They felt that... This whole thing felt very real. I guess I wondered... everybody's reactions with their family, everything felt very real to them. Like V's husband and Ashley's mom, that was not acting. Yeah. And the ex-boyfriend and all of that. They all seemed to be like, what the? So I don't know. I think they found out how much it was going to cost, which I can't believe she didn't investigate that before. Yeah. But anyway, let's assume that she didn't. And when she found out how much it cost, she was just kind of like, no, I can't do this. And they didn't know. I think neither one of them knew what to do. Yeah. Well, and then V, again, instead of saying, hey, you really hurt my feelings by, I'm doing something that is huge for you. I'm putting my marriage on the line, my body on the line. And you were just really dismissive and just kind of threw up your hands and kind of gave up. I understand you're scared of the money, but why don't you just, tell me, just talk to me? She kind of gets so fixated on the stupid dog comment. It's just like, now, you're fixated on the dog comment and now Ashley's not going to hear what you're saying. It's just like two of them get fixated on these things. And now they're I hope they're not friends anymore. I'm sure Ashley's mother's thrilled. I know. She's happy. I know. I wish we could just get like a quick, where are they now from all of these people? I thought I was kind of looking for it. I was kind of looking for like the little Chiron, some little thing to tell me like, this is where Anna and Lucy are. This is what's happening. That on these TLC shows. It's very frustrating because I would like to just kind of know like what's happening now. Yeah, I know. So anyway, that show is very perplexing to me, but yeah, I don't know. It's a journey. It is a journey because you start out like being really interested and fascinated by these people, and then after a few episodes, you become annoyed with them. And then you're annoyed with them for a while, but then as it all wraps up, then you get more invested again, and you're like, well, wait a minute, like, well, you want some kind of satisfying ending, and I didn't feel like any of these had a satisfying ending. Except for Jess and Christina. Jess and Christina, I felt like a very satisfying ending. But the rest of them, no. Yeah. And I think that it was better than, like, I don't know if I would want to watch this big, like, discussion between John and Jessica. And, like, I thought that was really beautiful. I think it was just this emotional moment of, like, what are we fighting about? This is so stupid. Let's just move forward. Right. So, no. So anyway, another season of Extreme Sisters. We'll see if let's see what happens for season 3 if we keep covering it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we cover the whole thing at once. I don't know. That's hard though. A lot happens, but we'll see if it even comes back. I don't know. There's so many shows now. Now there's like this brother husband show. Oh, yes. What else? I don't know. So it just seems like more and more shows just keep popping up. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Extreme Sister journey. And we all went on a journey together. Yes. So if you enjoy the podcast, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe and also rate and review us on iTunes or Apple Podcast. What is it called? No, I think it's called Apple Podcast. Guys, sound like we're like such an old person. God, on the internet, on the interwebs, and we're now speaking of old people, we're also now on the gram. We're on Instagram at Psych Legal Pop and also on TikTok, which we still have to figure out. Yes, at Psych Legal Pop, and so I think, is that it? Unsubscribe. Did you tell them
Yeah,
to
I
subscribe?
said
Yes. Okay,
subscribe.
then I think that's it.
Rate and review.
Yeah.
And as always, we have our Sister Wives Rewind on Tuesdays. We're doing Love is Blind on Thursdays.
Yep.
And then, we have some stuff coming up that we're looking into. So there'll be some new shows, new documentaries. So stay tuned.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.